The first thing he noticed about her wasn't her smile. It was the way she treated people who had nothing to offer her. Daniel Harper had spent the last 2 years pretending to be someone he wasn't. On paper, he was everything people chased. Young, self-made millionaire, owner of a fast-growing tech logistics company, living in a quiet but luxurious neighborhood just outside Chicago. But none of that followed him into the small, dimly lit restaurants where he met his blind dates. There, he was just Daniel. No last name, no watch worth more than a car, no tailored suits, just worn jeans, simple shirts, and a carefully rehearsed story about being between jobs after a failed startup. It wasn't a game to him. It was protection. After his wife passed away 3 years ago, Daniel found himself raising their 6-year-old daughter, Lily, alone. Grief changed him. Fatherhood anchored him. But dating? Dating revealed something else. Entirely. How quickly people could confuse worth with wealth. The first few dates had been hopeful. Then came the subtle questions. What do you actually do? Where do you see yourself financially? Do you own or rent? By the 5th date, a woman had checked her phone mid-meal, clearly bored once she realized he wasn't ambitious enough. By the 10th, someone had bluntly told him, "You seem nice, just not successful." After that, Daniel stopped showing up as himself, and strangely it worked. Not in finding love, but in revealing truth. Most dates ended quickly, some politely, others awkwardly. A few didn't bother finishing their drinks. But Daniel preferred honesty even if it stung, because somewhere out there, he believed, was someone who would see beyond the surface. He just hadn't found her yet. Until a rainy Thursday night changed everything. The diner wasn't part of the plan. His blind date had canceled 15 minutes before they were supposed to meet, sending a quick text. Something came up. Rain check? Daniel stared at the message, sighed, and stepped out of the upscale restaurant he had reluctantly agreed to try. Rain poured steadily, soaking the streets in a reflective sheen. He walked without direction, hands in his pockets, until he spotted a small diner glowing warmly on the corner. It wasn't fancy. It wasn't impressive. But it felt real. Inside, the scent of coffee and grilled food wrapped around him like comfort. A bell chimed softly as he pushed the door open. "Sit anywhere you like," a voice called out. That's when he saw her. She moved quickly between tables, balancing plates with ease, her dark hair tied back loosely, a few strands escaping around her face. Her uniform was simple, slightly worn, but clean. Her expression wasn't forced like most service workers he'd met. It was genuine. Not overly cheerful, not rehearsed, just kind. Daniel slid into a booth near the window. A minute later, she approached with a notepad and a tired but warm smile. "Rough night?" she asked, glancing briefly at the rain outside. He let out a small laugh. "That obvious?" "Only a little," she said. "Coffee first?" "Please." She returned quickly, setting the cup down carefully. "I'm Mia," she added, "in case you decide the food's bad and need someone to blame." Daniel smiled for the first time that evening. Daniel. There was no shift in her expression. No curiosity about his last name. No quick assessment of his clothes. Just a nod. "What'll it be, Daniel?" He ordered something simple. Nothing fancy. Nothing that would give anything away. As she walked off, he noticed something small but telling. At the counter, an elderly man struggled to count out coins for his meal. His hands shook slightly, frustration evident. Without hesitation, Mia stepped in. "You're good, Mr. Thompson," she said gently, placing a hand over his. "It's on the house tonight." The man looked up, confused. I can pay." "I know you can," she said softly. "But tonight you don't have to. No audience. No performance. Just quiet kindness." Daniel leaned back in his seat, something shifting in his chest. He came back the next night, and the night after that. At first he told himself it was just the food, but it wasn't. It was her. Mia didn't treat him any differently than anyone else. She didn't linger unnecessarily, didn't flirt for tips, didn't ask probing questions, but she listened. When he spoke, she paid attention. When he joked, she laughed. Real laughter, not polite. Over time, their conversations grew longer. She told him about working double, shifts to support her, younger brother through college, about how she once wanted to be a nurse, but had to drop out when their mother got sick, about how life didn't always go the way you planned. But that didn't mean it couldn't still be meaningful. Daniel found himself opening up in ways he hadn't in years. He told her about Lily. Not everything, but enough. Mia's eyes softened when he mentioned her. "She's lucky to have you," she said. He almost corrected her, almost told her the truth. But he didn't. Not yet. Because for the first time, someone was seeing him, just him, and he wasn't ready to risk that. Weeks passed. One evening, as Daniel paid his bill, he noticed Mia arguing quietly with the manager near the counter. Her voice was calm but firm. "I'll cover it," she said. "It's not your responsibility," the manager replied. "She has kids," Mia insisted. "She just needs a little time." Daniel glanced toward the booth. A young woman sat there, face pale with embarrassment. A small child asleep beside her. Something tightened in his chest. Without thinking, Daniel stepped forward. "I've got it," he said. Both of them turned. Mia frowned slightly. "You don't have to—" "I know," he replied. "I want to." There was a pause. Then she nodded. "Okay. No suspicion. No hesitation. Just trust, and somehow that meant more than anything. The truth came out a week later. Not by choice. Daniel had just left the diner when a sleek black car pulled up beside him. His driver stepped out. "Sir, your meeting was moved to tomorrow morning. They need confirmation." Mia, who had stepped outside to take a break, froze. "Sir," she repeated. Daniel closed his eyes briefly. Of course. Of all nights. He turned slowly. Mia stood a few feet away, confusion written across her face. "That's not what it sounds like," he began. "Really?" she said quietly. He hesitated. And that hesitation said everything. Her expression shifted, not to anger, but something deeper. Disappointment. "You lied," she said. I mean, not like that." "Then how?" she asked. He struggled for words. "I needed to know people liked me for who I am," he said finally. "Not for money." Mia stared at him. "And you decided the best way to do that was to lie to them? It's not that simple." "It is to me," she replied. Silence hung between them. "I thought you were different," she added softly. "I am." "Then you should have trusted me enough to be honest." That hit harder than anything, because she was right. Daniel didn't go back for days. Then a week. Then 2. The diner felt too far, too close, too real. But something was missing. Not just her. Himself. Finally, one evening, he walked back in. Mia was there. She saw him immediately. Their eyes met. And this time he didn't pretend. He walked straight to her. "No lies," he said. "Not this time." She didn't respond. "I was scared," he continued, "of being used, of being seen as a wallet instead of a person. And so you decided to test people?" she asked. "I decided to protect myself," he said. "But I ended up pushing away the one person who actually saw me." Her expression softened just slightly. "I didn't care about your money, Daniel," she said. "I know that now." "Then why didn't you trust me?" He swallowed. "Because I forgot what trust looks like." Silence again. Then, quietly, "My daughter asked about you." That caught her off guard. "She did?" "She said I smiled more after I met you." Mia looked down. "Then back up." "You still owe me honesty," she said. "You'll have it," he replied. "All of it." A long pause. Then finally, "Sit down," she said. "Not forgiveness. Not yet. But a beginning." Months later, Daniel sat in the same booth, but everything felt different. Lily laughed across from him, a milkshake in her hands. Mia sat beside them, smiling as she wiped whipped cream off Lily's nose. No pretending, no testing, just truth. And it turned out that was all he needed all along.